Hey guys, how's everyone doing? So today we are going to talk about relationships here, my experience, and everything in between. So we'll try to touch on some stuff here, everything like that. So it was around December 2018 when I started considerably dating, thinking about it, and it's a big start here. You find relationships when you least expect them. That's kind of how it always goes on this part. So it was around December 2018, around maybe the 18th. It's kind of close around Christmas. I don't really remember 100%, but one of my old friends from Xbox, she lived in Chicago. I mean, we would play online, and I never considered dating in my whole entire life because I always thought, it was just something I never really experienced and never wanted to. But we're drinking some tea here. That's what we're drinking. It's kind of a little chill video. Hopefully it turns out good. Basically, I don't know if it will. So we were playing online, and I think we started getting a connection. So, of course, I didn't really have too many feelings at the time. We're keeping everything discreet with names and everyone, except for the current person I'm dating. So that's how that goes on this part. So, yeah. I mean, you at least expect relationships. And I think that I'm a good person on telling advice. I think I've learned a lot. But let's get back to the story here. So let's go back to 2018. We were playing. I thought we had a connection, sort of. I just didn't really have too many feelings. But I kind of told her, I'm like, if we ever dated, it just wouldn't work. We live so far away from each other. That was around the time when I thought long distance relationships would never work in the first place. Little did I know, I guess. So, we were playing, we had this connection. She went back to college, just things went there. But after around January, which would be 2019, I just kind of started finding more relationships. They never lasted too long. I dated another girl, then I dated someone close. And I'm just gonna tell you my feelings on how all of these worked out here. If a woman never wants to talk to you that much and never cares to actually have a communication with you, then she's not right. She's just totally not right. There's always these little small details. You'll find this, but it's just not gonna come in the first day or whatever. You got to get to know each other, but that's not interested in a video, basically. But you just have to get to know the person, see if they're right. Ask qualities, and if you don't like them, it all depends on you, really. That's pretty much how that goes. But you have to look for the small little details in life. Like if they're abusive, or what do they usually do with their time that you might not enjoy. But the big thing that I can give you here is just don't find a person that basically will take things away from you. That's literally something that's a big key. Don't ever find anyone that takes things away from you. What does this mean? If you have a favorite hobby and you start dating this person and you throw it in the trash and literally say, I'm done with this. Now, A lot of people think that I quit making videos because I'm dating. No, every single woman I've dated did not care less if I made videos. You know, so that's a good quality in life. The reason why I left most of my girlfriends was because, we just didn't have a good connection. Really about it. So you just gotta find what makes you happy. The reason why I quit making YouTube videos was because I got to a point where most of my content, I couldn't really think of any other content. That's pretty much it, really. Just food videos. It was because there was not very many games coming out that was really piquing my interest. That was really about it. Daily vlogging, I thought maybe it would be kind of getting dull and boring after a while. But no, I never actually quit. So let's get back into this again here. So, man, I kind of lost track there. Oh, man. So, that's pretty about it, really, with what you're trying to find here. There should be some more information, if I can think of it. Lose track on what I'm saying here. But most of the women I've dated, we just never had this connection. And when you're trying to actually find someone, you have to examine, go through signs. Online dating, a big problem with that, because if you're gonna go into that, you're basically going to have to literally video chat with them, admire their lifestyle, how things are going, so on and so forth. I can see why a lot of online relationships fail, because the person gets fed up eventually because you're not physically there. And that's kind of how most of them end up, basically. You have to have a very strong relationship to be online. You just basically have to. But the woman I dated that was close to me, we just didn't really have that much. I was pretty quiet, and it just, didn't know really what to say. If you find a person that's willing to actually talk to you, that enjoys talking to you, that just smiles every time they see you, then that's a good person to keep in your life. It really is. If they care a lot about talking to you. That's a good sign on a good relationship. But you just can't go deep inside there and say, that. You have to start off getting to know each other. Most of the time you actually get in the friend zone, basically. I never got that. Never really. It was always just yeah, this ain't working out too well. But a lot of people think that I left everyone that I dated. That wasn't really the case. And some good advice, don't stay in a relationship if you can't have a communication with someone. That's not something that you should be doing. You really shouldn't be. Because you're basically dating this total stranger that wants nothing to do with you. And if you get to marrying to the person, if you ever do, it just doesn't work out too well in that department. That's only if any of you ever decide to. But you just have to have this communication style, basically having a good conversation with someone, having a good laugh with them, and so forth. I'm gonna say this, but most people actually date and they usually lie. on what they like so they can actually date them. This is a problem here. This is a big problem with most relationships. They lie and say they like the same things, but that'll get you in severe trouble in the future. Don't ever do that. Don't ever. Because it'll just bite you in the back eventually if you ever actually get a far enough relationship with a person. Like, for instance, like let's say you both like pizza and you hate pizza, but you lied to her. Then when the person that you're dating wants to go out for pizza and you say you hate it, then there you go. It's better to actually find a person that agrees with everything you say. Now, it always doesn't have to be the case on everything you have to agree on. That's not always the case. There's always a compromise in a relationship, and there always has to be. If there's no compromise, then what are you doing in that relationship? Especially with abuse. It works both ways. Don't do that. Don't ever be in that and leave that immediately. I've learned a lot on dating so many people. And like, if you ever find a way that you're in that, run away as fast as you can. As fast as you can. But back to the compromise situation. There's always a relationship. There always has to be a compromise in a relationship. Like, one week you have to do something with someone else. I mean, if you don't like it, that's just the compromise most of the time. Now, you might think that it always has to be about you. It always can't be. And that's the issue. If you're looking into that kind of relationship, then either one of the relationships are going to leave you. That's always how that goes. So don't always do that. So what a compromise would be if someone wants to go see a movie, you should go see it, and then next week or whenever you're dating again, do something you like. That's a good compromise, and it's a good building block for something here. If she can deal with what you like and what she likes, you don't always have to agree on everything. That's not always the case. You don't always have to like the same stuff. And if you do, well then that's great. That's 100% great. But just look for signs when you're dating someone. See how they communicate, how much they actually care to talk to you. For instance, some good signs basically are just like good morning text messages, how are you, how was your day, so on and so forth. I mean, I've gotten those, but then they usually stop after a while. But if they continue forever, then you're doing really great in that relationship. But if you're just quiet, you don't know what to say, and like you think that this is just great, in a good relationship, it's not. If you can talk to the person and literally just say about anything and they listen, then that's great. I know I'm not always the best, but I think I'm actually somewhat experienced in relationships. But person I'm dating now, that I've been dating for 3 years, this is why I'm making this video. I've been dating him for like 3 years, and like it's been great. It just has been. I mean, this is the best relationship I've been in. It really has. It'll be 3 years, probably tomorrow by the time I upload this. 3 years that I've been knowing her. Why am I being discreet? It's just like, I don't actually know why. To be honest with you, I shouldn't be. But yeah, we just try to keep names out of there, basically. This is just a video for anyone that wants to do this, but everyone should know who it is. You know, I've been making videos with her. Everything, oh man, like that. But I think that's really about it in a relationship. I mean, if you could focus on all those stuff, the compromise, the great communication, and if there's no great communication with the other person, then what kind of relationship is that? The compromise, the communication, the love, and the support. Those are some like 4 things that I think that it's actually really good. The support has to be both ways on this part. It always has to be, and that's always how it has to be. I like to think that I'm actually somewhat experienced with this. I know I keep saying that, but like, this is just a video that I never thought I would make in my whole entire life. Because I always had a policy that I keep my relationships very secretive to the internet. But I just wanted to talk about this because usually there's like videos on how to get someone to like you. Like, are you serious? You're gonna swindle someone's mind on dating you? Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. I'm gonna make some people angry by saying that because there usually might be some people that like, I really like this person and like I want them to like me. You know, if it's not meant to be, it's not. And that makes a lot of people sad. It really does. You'll find this connection. And it'll be so random. Just keep looking. And like, people probably want me to talk about signs. Mine are all have been like random. Just try what works for you on this part. And just go on a date and see how you like them. If you don't, then that's it really. Then just go find the next person. Don't start getting feelings for the person and then it's so hard for you to leave them. You know, if you like some parts of their qualities, then that's the problem. If you start liking them, then it's going to be hard for you to leave. And then you're going to be stuck in a bad relationship for the rest of your life. Well, that's just how that goes on this part. So don't ever do that. Just look for signs. You'll know when it's right to ask them things. You can drop hints. Just think inside your mind and in your gut on how the person is on this part. That's just how it really goes, this part. But don't ever let anyone take anything away from you. That's a big key. That could be really anything. Anything you're really passionate about, you know? Especially work or college or anything like that. If they take that away from you and say you have to go on this and do this because it makes more, just don't listen to them. Just find someone that's right. You'll find it eventually. It will be just so random. That's how I met the person that I've been dating for like 3 years. It was just so random. And like that. It's just crazy. I never thought I'd make a video like this. Never thought I'd be talking about getting someone to actually be with you. But this is not a video on making someone like you or making someone fall in love with you. That's not how it goes on this part. This love story that I have is basically quite interesting, I guess you might as well say, because there was not very much work involved. You get to know the person, then you start off as a relationship. If that works out, if it doesn't, then there goes your feelings on this part. So this is why, hints and little droplets are the good things on this part. But this is not a video on like how to get into a relationship. This is a video on like before you're starting a relationship, what the signs are to look for. I just came out lucky. This is not a video on like how to get the perfect relationship and everything like that. This is just a video on like some signs to stay away from and run away if you're not liking this. But it makes total sense for some people, but love can actually steer you in the weirdest directions ever. Like a lot of things can swindle people's minds. From looks to anything. You could be in the worst abusive relationship of your life, but you think to yourself, man, this person's extremely good looking. I'm not going to leave them. It's not always how it goes. Stay away from that. You just gotta find something that makes you happy. Like a perfect relationship would be you coming home and whoever you're dating is basically like really happy to see you. And then there's this good relationship. Like sitting down, watching TV, or doing something that you guys like to do. If you guys just avoid each other, why are you even in a relationship in the first place? If you're happy with each other, then that's great. You have a great relationship. But this is just some signs to stay away from. If you're staying away from the person that you like, well, the person you're dating, I should say, why are you even in that relationship? Just get away from it. I know that it's extremely hard, but these are some signs that you gotta stay away from. This is not a video on like if you're in an abusive relationship and thinking that how do you get out of it. This is not one of them either. Like I said, this video is basically talking about some signs before you actually start liking them too much to actually leave them. Some good advice, really. But, yeah. I mean, you'll know that you guys are happy with each other when you like go and do things. Like, for instance, the small little things are always the most amazing in a relationship. If you find that out, or like if you say I'm just bored and I don't want to do this and try to get out of things, give it a try. Really. These compromised relationships can work out pretty well. I'm in this relationship for like 3 years. And sure, we don't like the same things, but that doesn't make the big difference in this world. As long as you're happy with each other, all that really matters. So I think that's all the advice that I really have, really. Just some summing up. Don't start loving someone if you know that they have some bad qualities. That could be anything that you hate. Like, if you're thinking to yourself, I don't want to date a person that smokes or drinks. Well, then what are you doing? If you find that out, run away. Run away as fast as you can. Because if you're stuck in that, you're stuck in that forever. And it's so hard to get out. This is like, that's really the summary up of this. Don't find a woman or a person that you don't like the qualities. So I think I'll end the video here. I don't know what else to say. I might have forgotten a few things, but I think I gave some good advice. I think I did. Don't know how it'll turn out. I'll have to watch the video and see how it turns out. But that's pretty much the summing up. I mean, just look for signs.